Hello, everyone. A very good evening to all of you. Hope you all are having a fantastic evening. I welcome you all to Phoenix Literature Festival Junior 6th edition, presented to us by Skill Factory. A little background. Phoenix Literature Festival started its journey in 2020, and we have conducted various literary festivals. Our mission is to inspire and empower children and young adults to cultivate, nurture, and enhance their reading, writing, and storytelling skills. This fest is powered by Schools of Creativity. Search by Tenders is our technology partner. Confident Storytelling Hub is our associate partner, and Revival Mastery is our academic partner. So I welcome you once again. Please have drum rolls and a thunderous applause. The topic of this session, we are going to discuss about reading books in today's time. Reading books in today's time, which is a very relevant and significant topic. We have our amazing list of panelists. They are eminent people and need no introduction. But as far as the courtesy goes, I would like to give a brief round of introduction to all of you. Hope Ketan can switch on his camera if he is online. Um, and
I am so sorry. Just give me some time. I'll switch on my camera. I can't for
Okay,
now. But
sure.
say, thank you for the introduction, and very, very excited to be here.
Okay, so we have Ketan Bhagat. Ketan has multiple hats. He is a popular author, motivational speaker, yoga teacher, and corporate executive. Welcome, Ketan. A huge round of applause for him. Keep the applause going because we have Shweta Maheshwari. She is a brilliant author, educator, and thought designer. Welcome, Shweta. We also have Sanjay Kumar Singh. He is the Senior Director, Journals Publishing Sage, and he has many years of experience in publishing journals and academic and research. So I welcome you all and I look forward to a very engaging discussion. I'm your moderator, Mitra Samal, all the way from the Temple City, Bhubaneswar, and I'm very glad to be the moderator today. I thank everybody for this opportunity. So, coming to the topic, reading books in today's time. These days we are having a lot of distractions. There is chaos, clutter, disoriented pings, and cell phone notifications everywhere. Are we reducing our reading time and increasing our screen time? Do we have to focus a lot and concentrate to read these days? Also, do you think that these days we are finding it very difficult to have a perfect mindset to read? Also, on the other hand, do you think books help us become better writers and also better individuals? Do you think books open a splendid world to us which was otherwise hidden by the mainstream media? These are few topics which we are going to touch base upon in today's discussion. So, without further delay, I would open the panel discussion and ask my very first question to the panelist, short and simple. Do you think reading books helps you to have good imagination and concentration? Do you think reading books helps you to have good imagination and concentration? I would request Shweta to begin on this first, please.
Definitely, Mitra, I would say, especially in my case, till 2014, I would say I was not a reader. I would like to fancy upon how people can read books. There is a lot of other things to do. They can hop in the mall. They can go for a lot of things. Why these people? I remember my principal used to read. Then I started reading in 2016 and 17 because seeing him, because every time he keeps on reading, he must be talking about this book and that book. Then I don't know, 2017 when I started reading, it created a kind of magic in me. And in 2018 I decided, and I've written in my goal, like 1st January 2018, that I will write a book. Just imagine this. It's not that easy. Up till 2014 you were not a reader, and 2018 you decide that yes, you're going to write a book. But yes, reading books for that 1 year, 2017 to 2018, has really created a kind of aim in me, kind of creativity in me, imagination in me, so as to, this aim in me to write a book. I know it was very difficult for me to write my first book, She Met Life, because I remember, even to write 100 words, I have to read a lot. I have to read a lot to understand. But that reading, that, consistent reading had helped me a lot in developing my imagination, my creativity. And yet, as you all know, as a result, She Met Life is a bestseller and is really doing good. It had means reading has a lot of impact on me, if you ask about creativity. So I would definitely say, in fact, I'm an educator also. I keep on hammering my children also, keep reading, and those who are really reading, they are producing good stories in the classroom. Reading books
Yeah,
helps a
definitely.
lot.
Definitely, Shweta. I completely agree with you that to be a good writer, we need to be a prolific reader first. And
Reader or
reading, yeah, reading definitely helps us to enhance our creativity, and we get lot of ideas while reading. Ketan,
reading.
would you like to? Yeah, Ketan, would you like to add something to this from your personal experience?
My experience is actually opposite. So I respect readers. I'm not a reader. I don't read books. In fact, my brother is such a big writer, but I think I've not read many of his books, some of them. I think reading definitely helps. But before mankind invented education, then also people imagined. Then also mankind progressed. So it is one of the ways, definitely one of the ways, but it's not the only way. That's all I would say. So people will still figure out new ways and figure out a way to enhance their imagination.
I completely agree to that. I have met people who are not such avid readers, but they have experiences in life. They have traveled to places, they have met people, and that helps them write also. Sanjay, would you like to add something to this from your reading experience? And what kind of books do you read?
Okay, so I read a lot, and first I'll give you my personal experience. I was a science. I've been a science student, but in class five, I came across a book by Thomas Hardy, The Mayor of Casterbridge. I read it, and you can say that just one book changed my life, and it completely turned me towards literature. And there are very few books, in classics and literature that I have not read since then. That one book was a turning point, but you can say that, at that time there was no digital, books were available. But then I'll give you another example. So I saw this Harry Potter several times. All the movies I might have seen 5 or 6 times over and over again. And after seeing them, I bought the full series of 6 books, Harry Potter, and started reading it. Let me tell you, it blew my mind. And if you ask me how the movie compares to the reading the book, uh, book reading was maybe 10 times, 20 times, I don't know how much. Very different, very different. And it was so interesting that I read the full series in one go in 30 days flat. So I took time out reading it. So reading definitely is a great habit somebody can develop. If students can develop habits, children can develop reading habits. It will be one of the finest habits and most useful habits they will develop, right? But at the same time, it's very easy for me to say that print books are better. Yes, of course they are better. There are research reports that says that students who read print books, they score higher, at times 40% more than students who read only digital ebooks, right? There are research reports. So there are 10 different reasons for anybody to say that the print books and digital books, ebooks, how they can be different. Print books are better, but let me tell you, we also need to understand the need of the readers today. If they want to read something, they want to read it the way they want. It's not, you can't now shove it down their throat a printed book, right? So in digital book, I think the second best option that I have found, and I'm quite addicted to it from last 5-6 years, is the audiobook. Audiobook are again, it is almost same as immersive as, reading a book. So as a publisher, we always look for how we can, let me tell you, as a publisher, for every book, a story book or a course book for children, it goes through a rigor. The pedagogy is developed, right? The facts are the authenticity of facts are checked. The instructional design are created so that a student can read, understand, retain, and do well in exams, and they can retain it for a longer time. If we follow the same thing in digital books, whether it is ebook or audiobook, probably it can give some impact of printed books. But reading books, let me tell you, whether one reads an ebook or an audio listens to an audiobook or reads a printed book, of course, my first love is printed book. I love the feel, the touch, the smell, right? And I have a library of my own. I have some of the, some very rare books, uh, very old books, probably you won't find anywhere now on this earth. Uh, so I'm pretty proud. I keep reading old books. So reading books is something, like I said, the best thing that a student can do for themselves. It's so important. It can change somebody's life, right? And again, going by my personal experience, I'm not saying that it will be true for everyone, but the first few books that students pick, the story books or fiction, non-fiction, classics, the first few books they pick, if they're lucky to pick the right books, the most interesting books, they will never let it go. They would never let that reading habit go. So I think that would be maybe by chance, maybe people can suggest what books to read to start with. So here, the authors, they have a great responsibility of, giving the right thing to the students so that it not only excites them, it's make them more interested. So that's a short take on reading books.
Thank you very much, Sanjay. I can totally relate to that, and especially the part when you said that you watched Harry Potter and you read the book next. So that correlation between book and screenplay, that also I find amazing. And yes, audiobooks is something which children are reading these days because they are used to listening audios, YouTube videos, and all. So yeah, definitely very valid points. My next question is related to the bookstores and book events, both online and offline book events. Do you think physical bookstores and book events, whether online or offline, they help connect like-minded people and create awareness? Would Ketan like to begin on this, please, about bookstores and book events?
I think bookstores and physical books are gonna be like theater, one or two in a city, and very, very, very niche. They are dead. They are over. Very few will remain, and I don't think, frankly, see, there is a thing known as function and thing known as form. So function is a story, and form is a book, written book, like sir very rightly said, the touch, smell. This is all our generation of old kind of. The new generation has not touched, felt. Probably they have touched, felt a phone more than they have touched and felt anything else in the world. So for them, when phones will go away, is when they will say, "Oh, the touch of a phone," or So I think the story is evolving. The story is nice, and sir very rightly said, one book can change life, but so can a movie, so can a play, so can a narration, so can any experience. So that is the power of a story. It's just that one of the ways to tell a story is through a book. One of the ways to sell a book is a bookstore. But bookstore, library, all these online events. There was era. It is going. It's like what's happening to cinema halls. They can keep saying Jawan, 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 but we all know what's the quality of that movie and how much actually. So they are dying a slow death, and this will also die a slow death. Story will always remain. Story is eternal from mankind, from Mahabharata time to Harry Potter time. Story has always been of interest. And so I think the era of books, physical books, bookstores will not get zero, but probably just like we have theater or street plays. That's how small it will become. This is my view.
Yeah, I completely agree to that because I have seen like cities here. We are just having two bookstores, hardly two, three bookstores, or one bookstore in another city. But yeah, there are book events, and I have heard people say, I think like they met their best friend at a book event, and they are friends now for a decade or more. So, Shweta, do you have any such experience of meeting like-minded people in bookstores, and you have connected well?
Yes, I have a story. I won't say a book event or something like that. My firm means as soon as my book got released, I got a mail from one of my fans, and he liked my book a lot. Means maybe after 2 or 3 release of 2 or 3 days, and through mail, I don't know how I got connected. Maybe sometimes it happens, and we exchanged our phone numbers. And he is now one of my good friends, my best friends, and he reads a lot. And I am a part of many book clubs and many other such events where yes, I have met people and I really had friendship with, not that connected as I had with means the person I'm saying, but yes, it helps a lot in making, even in office also I have good or deep connections with the people, those who are reading book, than those are not. Means yes, books really help you to make connections, to have deep talks, to have wise talks, to understand. And I have really made a very good friend, trust me. It's my experience.
Thank you for sharing your experience, Shweta. Yeah, through these events, allow us to have healthy exchange of views and ideas. Sanjay, I would like to ask you about the awareness part. That was the second part of my question. Do you think these book events help us come across lesser known writers who are working on niche areas or experimental books they have written, and we would have otherwise missed them had we followed only the mainstream media? So, what do you have to say about that?
Right. I don't know if any, if you have visited Calcutta Book Fair. It's a festival out there, and people, they carry their food hampers, go with kids, children, family members. They go there. It's a celebration, right? Probably, I would say that people who are already book lovers, it's a way to celebrate their hobby over there, browsing books, looking at different publishers. And all the publishers, what they do is they always have small events at their stall or at the central place where authors keep talking about the books, and they interact with children, they interact with adults, whoever is their, the target audience, they interact. It's a great thing because when a child, say, I'm not saying a child infant, but somebody who's 10, 12, 15 years old, when they see what's happening around books and authors are talking about their books, they become part of that, and it definitely generates such a great interest in them that they read. And I've seen children, they buy such books after listening to the authors on different stalls. They buy books, they carry it, and they don't carry just one book. They carry, big bags of books. So it is very important when an author talks about a book, why she has written, or he has written this book, what is the idea about, uh, you know, behind the story or behind that idea, uh, it definitely makes a lot of things clear to the readers and students. So it is equally good for new authors and the readers. That is the way to connect. How would you connect otherwise? Right? That is the best way to connect.
Definitely.
And it's not just connecting, it is celebrating the moment. And you both get connected very closely. You know, you talk about your book, you know, in front of me. What can be a better way to understand you and your book?
Definitely. So I think this gives a very good platform for the new and emerging writers, and also we get to know them better, and they get constructive feedbacks from established writer. So these events like the book fairs and book talks, that is where we connect with these lesser known writers, and we can encourage them. So since this is Phoenix
I don't agree
Literature.
actually. I don't think so. All these lit fest, honestly, the big ones are commercial. I don't think any little known writer has come up in a Jaipur Lit Fest, for example. I don't agree. These are commercial businesses, these events, and it's like showbiz. Just like film fair is not an award show, it is a commercial event. I will be honest, today because of technology, it is easier to become a writer. So we have a plethora of writers. It's become more difficult to read because audio visual is obviously requires less brains.
Yeah. Uh, just one point to what you said, Mr. Bhagat. You know, I listen to podcasts a lot, and there are many authors who have their own podcasts.
Yeah, both of us.
And yeah,
Yeah.
and
Am I audible? So I think it is more difficult to establish yourself as a writer today because it's a dying industry. The little bit that is left is heavily commercialized. So I would love to hear my fellow panelists, to people who how do how do they establish themselves as writers, and what are their views for a new writer, how easy or difficult it is, and all these lit fest especially, how easy it is.
right. So, Mr. Bhagat, you know, I listen to podcasts a lot. I listen to different authors and you know in different areas, and I have come across new authors coming with their podcast around their books or the work they have done. And you know, since I'm connected to the education, go to schools, you know, colleges, interact with them. I've been interacting with them last 30 years, and I found that even students today, they enjoy podcasts a lot. They are, you know, they really like podcasts. Probably, like you said, you know, a lit fest like Jaipur Lit Fest may not give access to every author and probably a very new authors, but the digital medium like podcast, digital medium like this Phoenix, where you know you can have such interactions for book launches, book releases, and book talks. Uh, it does make a lot of difference.
Okay, thank you. I think it is for us to go and find out what is happening in the book events, maybe in the holidays or in the weekends, instead of sitting at home and scrolling on social media or doing online shopping. We should go out there to book events, meet people, try to connect with people. That creates a lot of awareness. Since we are in Phoenix Literature Festival Junior, and we have touched base a little bit on this topic, but I would like to exclusively ask, like, do you think if children read, they are going to become more reasonable and compassionate individuals in future? Will that help them be more emotional and have sentiments towards other? Shweta, I would like you to begin, because it is rightly said, you educate a man, you educate a man, but you educate a woman, you educate a generation. So what do you have to say about children reading books?
Yeah, definitely, Mitra. I believe that if you don't read books, you just live one life. And if you read books, you may live 1,000 lives. So this is true with children, and I really give this thought to my children as well, because now they are reading a lot of stories, a lot of characters. They are knowing the difficulties, the problems. Obviously the books are all about this, where the person is facing problem coming out. No doubt each and every story has a kind of this thing. When a child is reading it, maybe he's reading 5 to 6 books, may have read. Do you think he may grow means compassionate? Yes, the person understands. He understands the complexities of life. Same by watching movies also, I can understand, because they must be seeing the protagonist facing a lot of problems, but still those the problems seen on that screen is not may not be of that real life, but the book shows some struggles that really belongs to real life. They grow compassionate, they understand. I have seen, because I teach children, I know they are doing this and they really understand the things. Even sometimes I have to share, means they are like friends for me. If I share some of my thing, they come with their things, they understand. Somewhere I counsel them, they understand their parents, their siblings, their friends. They grow understanding, trust me. This helps, books helps those
Definitely.
who are doing this.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Shweta. So I think you lead by example. You read and you encourage your children to read. So that is a very good thing. And I also feel like children should be more exposed to books, because I was reading it somewhere. The difference between book and screenplay is that screenplay does not, it cannot display the internal monologues of the dialogue, monologues of the characters. So these internal monologues you get to read in books mostly. So, Sanjay, would you like to take this forward based on your experience about involving children to read books, be it audio books or e-books or physical books? I think, Sanjay, you are muted.
Yes.
Sanjay, you are muted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll start from the last discussion where you ended. Uh, it is very important that children develop emotional quotient today, and for that they need different kinds of experience in life. And in metropolitan cities, big cities, tier 1 cities, where they live in very protected environment, it is very difficult to become independent and develop such emotional quotients among children. Reading books probably is the second best choice and second best option to really become emotionally strong for students. They understand, they have better understanding of the world, they have better understanding, they are more human, they are more compassionate, right? uh, I have seen children who read more books, probably they always also have a pet at home, right? So it is definitely very, very important to develop such emotional quotient to become emotionally strong. It is not just the intelligence that helps you in surviving in this world, excel in your career, do well in life, but it is the emotional quotient that is the most important factor for a person to excel in life, do well in life, to take the right decisions, not to get bogged down by difficulties, problems, and take a bad choice. So, reading books is probably the second best option to develop such emotional strength.
Thank you, Sanjay. Ketan, I understand that you are not into reading books these days, but what do you have to tell about children? Do you think they should read books apart from syllabus, what is prescribed in the syllabus, and how is that going to help them? At a tender age, if we read books, how is it going to help?
I think we give over importance to books. Like I said, it's just one of the form of telling a story. And we as writers are egoistic people. Just because we are writers, we think we are brainy enough, and we think, and that's the half the problem with the world. Okay, illiterate people are also very wise, and literate people are also doing stupid things. Many book readers have caused major havocs in this world, and we cannot say that just because we read books become brainy. And I think it's pure ego of a writer and this word of ours. It helps, it definitely helps, but there are crap writers, there are crap books, there are books you cannot read. Like Sanjay sir rightly said, a book changes life in a positive way. There are books that can change life in a negative way. I think Shweta ma'am very rightly said that they become friends. She's met friends in library, but people make friends in coffee shops. People make friends, and so wherever there will be like-minded people, they'll become friends. I think most important is the story, not anything else. They are very good movies. They are very touching stories. They're very nice anecdotes. They're very nice audiobooks. They're very nice musicals, plays. It's an art, and art will keep changing its form the way it expresses itself. I've seen some brilliant videos on Instagram. I've seen some really stupid videos on Instagram as well. Really, and that's true with any art form. So I feel what is important is children relate to stories. Children relate to stories, and children appreciate a story. A picture can tell 1,000 words. So we as writers can be very jealous that a camera cannot tell internals of a story. But I'll tell you, I've written screenplay. In one scene, you can explain what entire chapter takes in writing sometimes. One scene, and sometimes one scene can explain what you can't even write, right? Like vice versa. Like sometimes what you're writing, a screen cannot depict. I think what is important is we should accept that ultimately we are storytellers, not writers. I think in the beginning so I think the world is now shifting to a more efficient way of storytelling, and so we as writers have to come up with even better stories that convey a lot more than just one or two facets of a journey or anything like that. And that's true with even audiovisual. Even when you see a web series today, not all web series are nice, but uh, a web series. I'll just take an example of a Harshad Mehta scam. There was a book written by Sucheta Dalal on it. Nobody saw it, or nobody read it, and then a web series came and everybody saw, and then Sucheta Dalal also got her recognition, due recognition. So it's all connected, and what we are saying today, reading as books, is like you should not use a calculator so your brain becomes more developed. Two into two, if you're able to do, doesn't mean you're intelligent. That's your classical way of thinking. So I think times have changed, and we have to accept that.
Yeah, definitely. And I like the fact which you said, Ketan, is that art has different forms. We have to embrace all forms. Like written books is one form. Then there is screenplay. Then there is a web series, or there could be us watching a live show in a theater, or even a dance performance. So there are different forms of art, and we should embrace all forms of art and should the children. Yeah, that is what I completely
I'll just
agree.
give an example to Sanjay sir and Shweta ma'am also. I'm sure they will agree. They are very. I recently saw from a distance A.R. Rahman sir. I went for a movie premiere. He was there. Now A.R. Rahman has never written a book. He has never even told a story. I think he's changed many lives. You know, we all salute him. So he's also told stories in his own way. That's all I'm saying. It's a form of art. That's all.
Correct. So form of art, and we should embrace form of art. So uh, I would like to say something like, what if we use social media in the right way? Say these days, I feel the gap between the readers and the writers is somewhat reducing, and readers are finding it easy to find writers on social media pages, to connect with them, to chat with them, or to drop a comment. And earlier it was very difficult to see even the photo of a writer or the video of a writer, but these days we can follow them on their social media pages. We can see what they are doing in their day to day life. And it is bridging the gap between readers and writers. But then, is this a good thing, or there are some demerits of that? I would like Shweta to begin on this, please.
Um, Up till now, Mitra, as I told you, I never find this kind of demerit. Like if anyone is dropping a message, as I told you, the release after the release of She Met Life, I received a mail. Means the person liked the book, and he became one of my good friends because he was a reader. Maybe we both are like-minded, and he loved the stories. And I go for sessions also to schools or colleges where it means, and if means may not be, it's not that possible for children to interact with me at that time. So they drop me messages through Instagram or something like that. That ma'am, we liked your session. We were really encouraged. Means I really motivate them to read because sometimes I've been called for this way. So I don't find any demerit in them. In fact, children those who belong to 9th, 10th or 11th standard, they drop me some of their poetries, their stories, so that they find they should, they want some kind of enhancement. Means I'm really, it's not like that. I don't find there is any demerit, like if social they are dropping me messages or something like, and it's I'm really helping them, or I would say they really feel encouraged or good. It's, I don't find any
Yeah, so
demerit.
yeah, I think in a way, like writers have become more accessible these days to
Huh.
readers
Hmm.
than before. Sanjay, I would like to ask you, like, since you are in publishing, so what do you think? Is it a good thing to the gap between the readers and writers is reducing with the help of social media and various forums?
Uh, well, let us start with the publishing side of the story. Usually, you will find that only 10 or 15% of the authors who approach, publishing houses, they get published. Even 15 is very high number, right? I would rather keep it in single digit. So, and that has happened when I was with Macmillan. I was publishing a lot of fiction storybooks as well, and general, uh, development books. Uh, Less than 10% of the manuscripts actually got published because they went through the rigor of reviews and why publish. That there is also another angle to it, the commercial angle, looking at reading a manuscript and seeing the sellability. The publisher is not always right, but most of the time they are right. Uh, that means there are a lot of people who are writing, uh, and if they don't get published with grade A publishers like Rupa Harper uh, kind of publishers, then what do, right? Then they get in direct touch with the customers through podcast, through self-publishing, through having their own web pages or Facebook pages, social media. They get directly in touch with the readers, they talk about it, and many of them they become very big successes, right? But not always, because it requires a different kind of skills to to become very successful over there. uh, I would say that if it is meeting the needs of the 90 or 80% of the authors who are not getting published through social media, then it is a very, very big benefit to young authors. And not only young authors, new authors rather, right? It's a big benefit. If this was not there, we would have lost this 90% of the new authors. So social
Definitely,
media,
I
digital
agree.
media, yeah, that's
Yeah,
my
I
take.
agree to this point. Ketan, would you like to also add a few? Sanjay, do you want to say anything else regarding this?
Yes, as a publisher, uh, I think that authors, they should take their job very seriously. Right? It's not that just because you think something is writable, or being a story being can be told to the world. One has to be very realistic, right? One has to actually look into it. Yeah, is it good enough? Is it good enough? So yeah, that's from my side.
Yeah, so I totally agree, that we should take our writing seriously, as in, definitely it is said that writing is just 2% gift and 98% hard work. We have to edit our first draft, we have to take opinions, we have to see how much, what section of audience we are targeting, or what is the moral we are giving. So I think these are very important, and um, a writer has to be serious. Ketan, I just want you to throw some light on what do you think about the reduction of gaps between readers and writers, and writers being more accessible to readers these days. What is your opinion about that?
See, writing, is like being the soul. Honestly, the writer. If you actually see when you write a novel, and Shweta ma'am has written, Sanjay sir, you know, everything, you become the god of that universe. Everything comes from you, everything. So it requires enormous thinking, or at least requires enormous recollection, because even if you're writing on your experiences, now it is a lot of hard work. It is an extremely lonely process. You can't outsource. You can't do it while yapping with someone. You cannot do anything else while you are writing, and it is a very frustrating, boring, tedious process because of the hard work of the soul, the writer. Everything else that follows in the story becomes easy. So if I've written a screenplay, for example, or if somebody is just reading the book, they don't need to imagine too much. Everything has been imagined. You just have to follow that. And I hope Shweta ma'am and Sanjay sir agree. I'm not trying to debate here. So the writers are stressed, tired, lonely, cranky, frustrated, helpless, exhausted creatures, So, and I think it is best to leave them alone, okay, in a lighter way. So it's very nice when there is the bridges come down, because usually the writer is the last person you think of. You just they're just like God in this universe is the last person or thing you think of, right? The manifestations come in front of you, and you forget that somebody actually created them. So that way, I think writers are getting a bit of recognition, which is good. The sad part is a writer will never be a Shah Rukh Khan. He'll never be a Tiger Shroff. And so, in a social media, the only problem is that if you are judged by how popular you are, then it is an unfair game. It's an unfair race. A writer is not in the race of popularity. So then it becomes like Virat Kohli has so many followers, Chetan Bhagat has so many followers, and say Mr. Narendra Modi or Mr. Rahul Gandhi has so many followers, and so everything, Mr. Anand Mahindra has so many followers. So everything in social media world is about how many followers, how many likes, how many shares, and all that. That is a very dangerous game, because that is not the job of the creator of the universe. That is a game that the people in the universe are playing. And so if a writer is able to not succumb to that, then I think it's a wonderful thing. Like Shweta ma'am said that children are able to reach out to her later on. So there's a way to reach out. Also, it takes away the hassle. It takes away the hassle of going through middlemen to reach your audience. So all these crosswords of the world who were basically monopolistic organizations in the name of bookstores, and they were like cinema halls who were, like look at cinema. Only few stars used to get their movies, only few production houses. So all these were middlemen between people. So the social media has taken away the middlemen, which is so great. It is so nice to not have these Goliaths of the world harassing and extorting money from newcomers and frustrating them. But at the same time, this whole world has become around how we view at Elon Musk. Like we don't see his achievement, we only see his net worth and popularity. That's a very unfair way to judge him, and that is the only drawback I see of social media. Otherwise, great. I don't know what's view of Sanjay sir or Shweta ma'am. Please,
Okay.
uh,
Right, Bhagat sir. I fully, endorse your ideas and what you said. I just want to add my last comment. When I said take it very seriously, I don't know how many people have read. There is a book, The Writing of One Novel by Irving Wallace. It is one of the classic books that is available on writing. How do you write? Whether fiction, non-fiction. Irving Wallace is one of the best-selling fiction author, and probably you would have heard of his book, The Second Lady, the novel, which was one of the finest books. I read it, I don't know, maybe 30 years back, right? Almost 30, 35 years back. He, you know, when you write the first paragraph, he talks about the first paragraph itself decides whether you are going to read that book or not. And he writes the same idea in different ways and tells you how much work needs to be done. Writing, rewriting, rewriting. Irving Wallace usually wrote the first paragraph more than 20 times. That's the first chapter, the first paragraph, right? Because I have seen with myself also. when I pick a book, if I don't like it first 10 pages, I never finish that book. So it's a very hard work, right?
Absolutely. It's a hard work. And that's what I'm saying. This social media can be a distraction. Social media can also make you feel like a loser because, say, if a Virat Kohli scores a century or a Mohammad Shami takes 6 wickets, you're not going, your one paragraph, even if written 100 times, will not get that much popularity. So writers are technique. If you become a writer, you're not a body, you're a soul. So benefits of a body will not come to you. And that's why a writer, if he's happy being in oblivion, being a bit on the side, then it's okay. And that's why I will tell you there are two kinds of writers: writers, and then people who became popular and decided to write a book because let's cash in on the fame. And that's a different ballgame altogether. Well,
Yeah.
but due respect to them also. I mean, why not, right? But then you can see, you forget about a book. You can see a movie, you can see a play, you can see a web series, you can see a speech written by someone, read by someone. You will know within first few seconds whether someone has actually spent time or not, like sir was saying, has actually worked hard or not. Writing is a very it's a lot of grunt work. Shweta ma'am, I don't know if you'll agree, it is grunt work. It's a real hard work. I People tell me you discourage people from becoming writer. I just say there are a million better things you can do with your life than write. Only write if you really have the urge to write. You really have a story to tell, because it's a very very difficult journey.
Yeah. And just to add to that, you might be obsessed with one idea, but what you have to be very realistic whether how that idea will bounce with others. Others are going to read and decide whether you are a good author or not, right? That understanding is very critical. Something might, I might get obsessed with one idea and I think, oh, this is a great idea, I must share. But I should also have the power, the capacity, the analysis power to understand when I share this idea with others who are going to read, either they are going to enjoy or they're going to be neutral or they might dislike it. How do you judge that? And that can make you a great author or an average one.
Thank you everyone for all your valuable points. Like we have lot of things to mull over today and on Sunday, to think about reading more, about appreciating all forms of art, about writing with brevity, about putting efforts, and to bridge the gap between having a dream and how to achieve that dream by breaking it into small milestones. So I think we had a very good discussion, and I thank you all for giving your viewpoints. Hope that you have a wonderful evening today and a great weekend. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mitra.
Thank you.
Thank
This
you.
is super fun.
Thank
Right.
you. Well,
Thank you.
nice to meet all of you, Sanjay sir,
Nice
Ketan, and all.
intro. Thanks, Mitra.
Thank
Great,
you.
great moderation. Not easy to handle three writers. People at home can barely handle one. You handle three for an hour. So God bless you. And nice meeting you, Sanjay sir. Nice meeting you, Shweta ma'am. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank
Great fun.
Thank you very much.
you.
Good fun.
Okay. Thank you, Mitra. Yes.